Welcome back to Sunday Morning Quickies, episode 114 for the 24th of March, 2024. I've been told that I cover something so often, it's like I'm kicking a dead dog and nothing's moving but the fleas. But it came up again this week a couple of times. And I think it's worth having a discussion over, and we're going to do a demonstration at the same time. The basic questions that came up were on cleaning the bottom sides of machines. One of the questions, and I'm sorry, I forgot exactly who it was that wrote it in, I didn't make any notes, was once you have all this stuff off, how do you clean the bottom? Well, it's of the casting itself, and that's a real good point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just the rock shafts and this garbage here, the bell crank and all, and the hook and everything. I'm going to take all that off of this machine, so we've got just the bottom. I'm going to show you how I do that. So let me get the camera in position, and we'll take a look at it. I actually had to do some digging. As I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Liz and I took out storage area for warehouse space so we can get some of the stuff out of the house, because we just had way too many of my personal machines here. So we went ahead and rented a large storage space, and well, large is relative, I guess. It's 10 by 15. But anyway, we rented a good-sized storage space. We put a bunch of shelving units in it and all. And that is now what is holding the majority of my sewing machines. I left the stuff here that, obviously that's in the sewing room. And a couple of machines for demonstration. Of course, any machine that we have in the house that doesn't belong to me is here. I didn't put that over in the storage area. That would be ridiculous, but so yeah, so it's kind of like we're using it as a warehouse. But I had to dig, because I knew I had an a recently acquired as-found 66 that I could use for this demo. You didn't see how that one just flew. It landed on a drawer next to me. It was a pretty good shot, actually. Anyway, I've been holding on to this 66. It was a recent acquisition. The only reason that we got it was to have it for demonstration purposes. So this is going to serve a couple of purposes, actually, because there's a couple things I want to talk about parts cleaning, that to answer some questions people have or have posed to me in the past. I have been asked why I don't show parts going into the ultrasonic, and that's an easy question to answer, is that while we do have ultrasonics, they don't really do a whole heck of a lot for us either, and I'll explain. You see, this is a great example. Let me get a couple of more parts off of this thing while we're going here. But these, all this grime, this oil and built-up crud that's on here, you can put that in the ultrasonic and with some degreaser, and sure, it's gonna take a lot of the crud off, but it's not a panacea. And I mean, it's a big help in some regards, and in some regards, it's not. If you've got rusty parts, it's not much of a help at all. If you just have cruddy parts, yeah, it can be a pretty good assistant. But like, for example, this one just does not want to come out. There we go. See all this crud here that's on that lifter? Yeah, it'll loosen that up, but all this other stuff that's down in here, it'll loosen it, but it's not going to take it off. So what you still have to do after you go through the ultrasonic is you're still going to have to take it to the sink, hot water and degreaser and a scrub brush, and scrub it off So honestly, on parts like this, yeah, it's gross looking and all. You figure a half an hour in the ultrasonic and it's going to loosen it. It's honestly, it's just faster for me to take it out to the garage shop where I have a grinder with a wire wheel and just wire wheel the crap off of it and just get the crud off of it that way. It's just faster for me. I know some people don't like the idea of doing it that way, but you know, you do you, I'll do me, and that's the way my workflow works best. That's all I'm saying. I should have pulled this out first. Nice old rusty needle. But yeah, so that's what works best for me. You want to see what's going on here? This is pretty nasty. There you go. There you go. So anyway, yeah. So let me get this thing apart, and we'll keep on chatting. So yeah, getting the crud off is one thing, or I should say, loosening it up is one thing. Actually, removing it is going to take a little bit more work. Now, I had another question today. It was just today, as a matter of fact. How to get the... I might have to take that off first before I can get this out. How to get the dirt off of this without damaging the decals. And that can be a little bit more tricky. I don't want to use anything really abrasive because I don't want to, I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the decals or the paint. So what I do, I fall back to the age-old position of sewing machine oil. Sewing machine oil isn't going to hurt anything, and it's going to simply allow you to, because what the oil is going to do is it's going to loosen up the crud that's on the surface. Here, we'll do a little small piece right here while we're working. You get some sewing machine oil on here, let it sit a little bit, and just lightly move it around with a soft cloth, or that's why I like these blue shop paper towels. This will lift that dirt right up and off, and if you do it gently, and you're going to use a fair share amount of paper towel doing this, you can go along and you can pull the vast majority of this dirt. It's just lifting right off, and you see this machine actually has some really nice decals. There's a couple of spots where the paint's not 100%, but the decals really aren't bad for a machine that was probably, it looks like it was sitting in a barn for 40 or 50 years. But anyway, yeah, that's... and I'm not the only one that does it that way. A lot of people. It's sewing machine oil because it's gentle and it doesn't hurt anything. Speaking of not hurting anything, I need a screwdriver right here. So, yeah, there's that. And, there we go. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can get the crud off, but the safest way is good old SMO. And the nice thing, also, if you have like a lot of grease built up, or I should say oil that's turned to grease and has gotten all cruddy down below or at whatever portion, you'll see in this thing when we start taking the rest of the needle bar box apart. The beautiful thing about oil is oil loosens oil. And what I mean by that is if you've got all cruddy oil in here, you can break that up with sewing machine oil. It'll loosen it up and help you get this crap off. And, I need to... That's my UV flashlight. That's not going to be doing me any good. One second here. I'm going to see... Oh, that's my screw head is. That's another thing. Having work lights, auxiliary work lights, you got to do it. Right now I'm using two work lights on small stands that I fabricated into my workbench to illuminate the work area, as well as the ring light on my camera and the overhead light over my bench, and I still can't see this stuff half the time. So yeah, there's that. And it's not because I'm getting old either, it's just the way life is. And I need this one. Got that on there. This is what Chapman bits are designed to do. See that? It just busted the bit before it damaged the screw head. This is also why I buy these in quantity. This is number 88. But that's not ready to give it up just yet, so let's see if we can get in there. Getting past this with the pressure bar in place is a bit of a problem. Well, maybe we can get it now. There we go. Now it's going. But anyway, so where was I? Oh yeah, we're taking this apart so we can get the crap off the bottom and demonstrate how to clean the bottom of the machine. And dealing with other things as we go. You just saw a couple moments ago, or maybe you didn't see, it was up and above and out of the camera shot. We're going to see again here. It's okay sometimes to grab something with a pair of pliers, provided you're careful and gentle with it. And get the feed dog out. Nice. And here, take a quick look. Let me move the camera again. See all this? That's fun stuff. Alright, let's get this off. So we can get the hook out and get the bobbin case positioning bracket and the bobbin case out. Okay, come on, baby. There we go. It's not going to want to come off. This thing is a mess. This is an older style. I don't know what year this machine is. I'd have to look it up. This has got the older style bobbin case positioning bracket, the one without the screw of death, which they're easier to get on and off in a way, and in some ways a lot harder. But oh, look what it's missing. Oh, the spring is there, but it's broken. Okay, and this, that screw's partially removed. That's weird. This bobbin case positioning bracket has issues. Let's get the bobbin case out. Shmoo. Alright, let's extricate the... I'm not in my fixture properly here. There we go, hold on. Let's extricate that. Tap it the rest of the way through. Yeah, it's not going to want to come out until we get that pressure bar out. So we'll just worry about getting the rest of this junk off here first. Then we'll come back to that while the Croyle is working on getting the that screw loosened up. And a couple people have asked me how I can do this without having to put things in like little numbered bags and stuff like that. You do enough of these and you can spread all the parts out on the table and identify right down to the screw what every part is. It does come to you in time. I might not be able to pick out a part from a specific machine that, you know, say, oh, that's specifically from a 301 or whatever. Some cases I can, but if I've got a pile of parts from a known machine in front of me, I can pretty much tell you which screw is going to go where. And that's just from taking them apart and putting them back together a lot. Let's get this out of the way, and then we're going to deal with, I guess I didn't loosen that enough. We'll deal with the crud down below. Come on. Break free. There you go. Ugh. Alright. Let me just get this off. Just get this screw out. And then we'll talk about cleaning the rest of this junk down below. I'm not going to bother to pull out the stitch length regulator or all that. I just want to demonstrate on the bottom of the machine because that was the task at hand. And the past, well, I'm sure in post-production I will have cut a bunch of that out. These chip brushes, you can get these just about any place. I buy them at Harbor Freight by the box of, I think it's 3 dozen. Take one of them and cut it down like this, or take a couple of them and cut it down like this, so it's real short and stiff little bristles. I keep one that's for schmooey stuff and one that's for a little less schmooey. Anyway, once you have all the accoutrement off of this, you can use the stiff bristle brush and scrub this stuff down. Follow up with your regular brush, sweep it away. If you are tempted to use an air compressor or compressed air, I would recommend not. A lot of times with compressed air, you wind up blowing dirt in deeper. So you're better off just brushing it away. Using a vacuum cleaner is fine, but make a couple of stiff bristle brushes. Now, I've got one that's cleaner and one that's nasty. The nasty one is for like here. I've got some, let me like stand back a little bit. I've got some crud buildup in here, some oily crud. Shoot a little bit of sewing machine oil on it. Use your oily brush and you can scrub it. And that'll work it down into the, I mean, this is not exactly a smooth surface. You can use the scrubby brush to work that sewing machine oil down, and that's going to help lift all of that stuff. You might use, you know, a few more drops here and there, but use that to scrub, and get it down into the, well, for lack of a better term, the pores of the paint job. It's not really the pores, it's just because it's not a smooth surface. So, scrub like hell, go through the whole thing, and then go ahead and take your paper towels. You don't have to use the expensive ones for that, and then just wipe it down with paper towels. Get in all the little nooks and crannies. Knock your brush on the floor. This is why we have a magnet on a stick. Reach down, pick up tools and stuff that we drop. It's one of my favorite little things. Anyway, just scrub and then wipe it down after you've scrubbed it with the oil. And the bottom, much like what happened up top, will look really, really nice. And I'm not going to do this whole thing. Actually, I'm not even going to fix this machine tonight. But you can do that to get all the crap out of it. And it works really, really, really well. So anyway, so yeah, there's that. We've gone over how to get the dirt off the top. Now you see the oil's kind of drying up. It's still not super nice, so we can keep on going over it. It takes time sometimes, and you can help, you know, a couple of separate applications, and every time, you see I just lifted more crap off. It's going to take several applications to loosen and lift, but once you loosen and lift enough of it, it will be clean. Now there's a thing I mentioned earlier. Oh, that's my ultraviolet. Let me turn these lights off here. Get the upper light off. Get the floodlights off, and I'll turn my ring light off. This is something I recommend everybody get. This is a little. They sell these at Harbor Freight for, I don't know how much it is. It's a brawn, but it's an ultraviolet flashlight, and it's the greatest thing in the world. If you want to see, I got to kill more lights in the room. Hold on. These little ultraviolet flashlights are great because it lets you see where the shellac is still intact and where it's worn away. Now this machine's a little dirty. Not a little dirty. This machine's very dirty. Let me grab a cleaner machine and I'll show you how cool this is. Let me get this thing off the bench. Alright, this machine is going to be a good example. I'm going to shine this ultraviolet flashlight on the top of the machine. Now you see these areas here where it's all glossy, and these other areas here where it's kind of dull and looking like it's kind of a greenish cast? Well, believe it or not, where it's dull and kind of greenish, that's where the shellac is intact. These areas here where it's super glossy, that's where the shellac is gone on this machine. So yeah, one of these little Braun, well, there's a bunch of different companies that make them. This little one from Braun is pretty cheap. They got them at Harbor Freight. These things are great if you want to evaluate the condition of the finish on the machine, if you're buying it or if you're getting ready to do a restoration. By the way, the motor that's on this 15-91, you might have noticed it's got a Class 66 bobbin follower. That's because it was off of a 201-2 and I haven't changed out the bobbin follower yet. I actually bought this motor on Facebook Marketplace, and turns out the seller was a viewer named Jerry. Hi Jerry! And the motor arrived yesterday, and I finished it up this morning before Liz and I went out to do some shopping, and it runs like a champ. And that's the reason why I bought it, because I needed a motor for this machine. So Jerry, thank you so much. She's running great, and the rest of the machine's not yet, but at least it's got a motor now. I know this is getting a little disjointed, but earlier I mentioned that it's okay to use pliers on fasteners sometimes. There's just a technique you have to use to be safe doing it. This stitch length regulator mechanism is jammed. Now, ordinarily, most people would say, yeah, take a strip of leather, put it around your pliers, and move it. You can do it with regular slips if you're extremely careful and you just grip, completely release, grip completely, and then completely release. You know, your turn, then completely release. You can do it without screwing it up. Just make sure you're using plenty of lubrication. In this case, I'm using Croil, which, not the spray can Croil. This time I get the regular Croil in a can and a regular needle oiler. And I've got another needle oiler here with sewing machine oil, and we flood that. And we will work this back and forth enough using the same technique in and out until we can get this stitch length regulator screw moving. But yeah, you can do it. Just be very, very careful. If you're going to grip, make sure it's a good tight grip and turn, but only lose like 1/8 of a turn at a time. Completely release, grab, and then like about 1/8 of a turn, and you'll eventually be able to work it out. Another quick topic I want to touch on, seeing how we're talking about people I've spoken with on the phone lately. My good friend Meredith out in Gettysburg. She's been having problems with a couple of machines getting the screw for that holds the needle bar, the needle bar clamp. It's accessed through this hole back here. She's been having a problem, especially on the smaller machines, getting in there. My recommendation is, if you've got one of the small offset ratchets, this is a 2-inch long, 4mm hex bit. That gets in there perfectly, and you can actually go even longer than 2-inch, and lets you get a nice grip. And bada bing, bada boom, it's loose. Okay, I'm in with a 4-inch long 5mm, and once again, this is a lot easier because you get the additional leverage that the ratchet handle gives you. So you can go ahead and you can get those screws out. It's a lot safer. And frankly, it's sometimes is difficult, especially for like a 99, to find a screwdriver that will fit underneath the harp of the smaller machines. But yeah, you can get these hex bits in different lengths. I've been buying them on Amazon. You can also get them from places like McMaster Car. I believe that the Amazon ones are in 10 packs, which is more than you're going to probably use in half of a lifetime, if not more than half of a lifetime. A couple other things I wanted to talk about real quick. I was speaking with Bill in Ohio today, and Bill was having an interesting issue with his 201-2, and I'm stumped. I've never seen this happen before, so I want to ask you guys if you've ever seen it. His machine is absolutely fine when it's got an incandescent bulb in the lamp, or it's fine when there's an LED in the lamp. However, when there's an LED in the lamp and he starts putting power to the motor, he hits the controller to get the motor going, the lamp socket smokes. It doesn't do it when there's an incandescent bulb, but when there's an LED, the lamp socket smokes. Obviously, pull the bulb out. We're doing some tests on this. I'm helping him, over the phone. But have you guys ever heard of that? I, for one, have not. I'm going to probably wind up making a new wiring harness and with a new socket for him and ship it out to him and help him do the installation over the phone. But it's just the most bizarre thing I have ever heard of, and I was just wondering if you guys were familiar with that one at all. Anyway, that's what I've got for you this week. Oh yeah, real quick. Yesterday, Liz and I took a trip out to Allentown, Pennsylvania. We were originally going to order and have them shipped in, but we went out to Uline's distribution center in Allentown, PA. If you've ever got an excuse to go there, it's pretty cool. If you remember the final scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where the guy's pushing the crate on the dolly in the huge warehouse, well, it's that on steroids. They have 3 enormous buildings. There's like, I think 298 truck bays at each one of these buildings in their distribution center. It's massive. And I gotta say, the customer service there is superb. When I called the order in, because, I've got a registered account, it recognized my phone number. The woman answered the phone, and she addressed me by name as she was answering the phone. She's like, "I see you have these items in your cart. What can I do to help you?" And I was just like completely blown away. And we arranged that Liz and I went out there yesterday afternoon. It's only about a 90-minute drive or so to get to Allentown from here. And we picked up the order, and we wound up, seeing how we're already there, we wound up doubling our original order and then getting like another 50 boxes of other sizes and stuff like that. So we brought quite a few back, and we put them over in our storage area. Yeah, so it was, if you ever get a chance to go to a place like that, it's definitely worth seeing it. Even if you're just going in to pick something up, you get a pretty good view of what's going on. And the place is spotlessly clean. Like, you could eat off the floors in this place. It's amazing. Anyway, so that's what I've got for you this week. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next video.